hello. Rotate. Oh, shit.
Oh.
We got our phone recorded. Oh, shoot. We're live. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining the Frugal Females Challenge live. Every month during the Frugal Females Challenge, I'd like to bring a finance pro in to help us understand and unpack a little bit of the mystery and some of the complications behind personal finance. And so this month we are lucky enough to be, Jordan is here.
It's a long day, you guys.
Cheers to that.
Can we make it like Andy Cohen, like a drinking game?
Yeah, let's make it like,
cheers. Cheers. I don't know, what's our word?
I
don't know.
Finance? Frugal?
Finance. Frugal.
Okay, thanks so much for joining us. Jordan is a finance pro. Her previous life, she used to be a design diva, but now she is following a new passion, which is personal finance and helping individuals kind of make it to the next level. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks so much for being here for the Frugal Females Challenge. If you have any questions or if you want to say hi, please feel free to go ahead and enter those into the chat. We can see and we'll be able to answer your questions in real time. I want to put a little caveat out there though. So today our conversation is going to be a little bit more high level, and then if you have a really in-depth or specific kind of conversation, I might actually table that and ask you guys to take it offline, because understanding that personal finance is incredibly personal, and some of those types of what do I do in this type of scenario really is better fit for a one-on-one conversation. Jordan has made herself available. Go ahead and reach out to her and we'll follow up with some contact information, be able to provide that for anybody that's interested. So thanks so much for joining, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and kind of jump in. So this month, my goal for the Frugal Females Challenge was to kind of unpack a little bit behind the idea of a financial advisor. I think for me personally, I was under the impression that I had to be debt-free and have like a wad of cash like stashed somewhere. But I wonder if that's actually really the case. And so I'm just hoping that we can, you know, again, high level, just understand a little bit about the nature of a financial advisor, what their role is, how you or another financial advisor might be able to help somebody, especially those of us who are in the Frugal Females Challenge who have actually a little bit of savings at the end of the month for not blowing it on champagne.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. So if you wouldn't mind, kind of if you could help us understand kind of the role of a financial advisor and kind of how that fits into the bigger financial industry.
So I would say, and kind of how I look at it and how Thrivent looks at it is we very much see ourselves as a GPS. So when you get in your car, you plug it in your phone or your navigation system, your destination, where you want to go, and then it gives you a couple routes. And you say, oh, great, I want this route. Awesome. That means you're going to turn right in 2 miles and stay straight later, and you know, whatever it is. So I very much, that's really how we work with people. It's like, okay, you guys are in the driver's seat. You let us know where you want to go, and we'll get you there. But the whole time, you're the one in control. You're the one making it happen. We are in your corner, helping you along.
So if I'm in control and I'm in the driver's seat and I'm at your desk, what kind of things do I need to be thinking about? Do I need to think about like college for my unborn children, retirement in 80 years, or can I be thinking about maybe in the next 5 years? What is it? Help me kind of understand my mentality when I walk into your office.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it, you know, we really start by asking questions. Questions about, you know, ultimately what you want to do. If you're asking if you want to, you know, if you should be concerned about saving for your, you know, non-existent children's college education, well, okay, so does that mean you want children?
Yeah.
Great. We're going to put that into our plan, because there's things you can do now, even way before you have children, to set that up on a good trajectory. So it really is a bunch of questions. And from those questions, we then determine, you know, what ultimately you want to do, and we help you do it. So it's
kind of like a choose your own adventure GPS.
Yeah, but we do, exactly. But we do, you know, we do help you, because I think one of the misconceptions too is, oh, you know, we're going to go plan and I'm going to have to do all of these things, and it's like a 15 bullet point list of things. Well, it might be, but you're not doing them all today. So we'll help you kind of figure out too, okay, here's where you want to go. Here are the like specific bullet point list of things that you want to do. Which one is most critical? Which one should come before, which is the cart, which is the horse, like baby bathwater, whatever, like which is the thing that needs to happen first, kind of help you prioritizing of not necessarily what's most important, but what's most critical to address before you could address something else.
Nice.
So
you spoke of a misconception. What are some of those misconceptions that you run across? I mean, I can rattle off all my lack of information, but what are some of the ones that the pros see?
So actually, you mentioned one. I gotta be totally out of debt, and I gotta have a ton of savings.
Yeah,
that's awesome. There's definitely more things you can more quickly check off your list.
Oh, I like that momentum.
If you're there, right?
Yeah.
If you're not there, that's great. Maybe do you need some help figuring out, a really efficient way to get out of debt? Based on what you ultimately want to happen, maybe a critical piece is putting some other piece in place and putting less toward your debt. Not doing it, but not doing it as much so that you can then redirecting your money to another place that also accomplishes. So you can kind of be accomplishing two goals at once that way. So we can help. I mean, so much of what we do is, people will hear, oh, I'm putting all this money into this thing. Okay, well, that's great. But you also want to do these things.
Right.
So can we redistribute some of that to really then, simultaneously accomplish all your goals? Maybe it's getting out of debt. Maybe it's saving more. Maybe, it could be any number of things. So I think a lot of it is that, oh, I have to have a lot of money. I think if you have less money, you have more to lose because you don't have as much to fall back on.
That's true.
So
then in this position, or then in this train of thought, those of us with a monstrous amount of student loan debt, yours truly, we actually do
We're all in good company here.
People like me actually do have a financial future. No, I'm serious though. That's a big thing that most of us are in this age category are actually facing is like a huge amount of student loan. For example, within 7 days, I accrued $100.10 in interest just on debt, and so then I'm afraid that I will be 40 before I'm out of debt, and then at 40 something I'll be able to have kids, or 40 something I'll be able to have a house, and that's really scary to me. And I really am inspired and encouraged by the idea of being able to multitask and have different tracks going that help me in more than one way. Oh, that's so awesome. I hope you guys are hearing this. This is really good.
Yeah, you don't have to put your life on hold and all of your other goals on hold because you think that your finances are, this weird ideal of what they need to be. We can help you get there, but that doesn't mean that you need to put everything on hold before anything else happens.
Well, that's good for me.
Yeah.
Okay, sign me up.
You got a load taken out today.
I sure did.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, there's our special word. There you go. So, what is it, as a financial advisor, what is it that you wish your clients knew or prospects knew?
Yeah.
Or what are some of the things that you wish? And I asked her to come prepared, guys, just FYI.
Yeah, I just got my notes because it's been a long day.
Okay.
So I wish people knew kind of what we talked about. Like, you don't have to have this wad of cash that, I gotta have this wad of cash and you're gonna help me grow it. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, we can do that. But I think there's a lot more things that are gonna be more helpful and more beneficial. And, so I was gonna say something else, but compliance. So never mind. And I was just repeating myself. So the other thing that I wish more people understood is time and health. Time and health are things that will absolutely make or break your financial plans. Time and health are things you can't get back, ever. Time only goes this way. You can't go back in time. There's lots of movies about it because it would be really great if you could, but you can't. And so time and health can, like I said, they can make your plan they can also wreak havoc on your plan. So, and that's why it's important today to start a conversation. You know, maybe you don't need, maybe you do need it, maybe you don't need it, but you know, you don't know till you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know until you find out. So, you know, it really, time and health are the things that can really help you accomplish your plans the way that you want them to. A more concrete way to say that would be compound interest. One of them is compound interest.
Yeah.
Just and all that is a fancy way of saying the power of time. If you start saving $5 a month now, in 30 years, whatever that sum of money is, in 30 years, what is it going to take to save that same amount of money per month in 5 years, right?
Well, I know my bank is taking advantage of compound interest, but are you saying that I, as an individual investor, can also take advantage of it? Okay. Again, sign me up again.
Yep. Jeez. No, compound interest, literally, you guys, time is huge, and time, and the sooner you start, that's where it's on your side, right? Because you just have more time. The other thing is insurability. This is a huge one for me. I have an uninsurable husband, and, you know, case in point, if someone said, hey, do you want a spouse and kids later? He'd be like, yes. But he didn't have those things yet. But if he had talked to somebody that could have helped him lock that down even before he had that, then when he did finally get that, almost 10 years later, you know, in his late 20s, it could have been a very different story. So, you know, even if you don't have those, kind of like what you said, should I worry about my non-existent kids' college fund? Well, if that's what you want, then yeah, you can worry about it. Is it most critical right this second? Maybe, maybe not, depending on your, you know, situation. But I think, you know, just thinking about what you want and what you want to have happen, making sure that it can happen. So much of what we do for our clients is empower them and give them the tools and the resources to do whatever they want to do, especially in a worst case scenario, and not be forced to do something that they don't want to do.
Right. It's
really warm. I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah, I know, I'm getting warm too. It's all the bright lights from the cameras, ladies. Just kidding. So I wonder, I think a lot of us in the Frugal Females Challenge, maybe we're working some sort of plan, like a Dave Ramsey or something like that.
Absolutely.
But I wonder, and I'll just share a story. So last September, I read that 400 or 500 page Tony Robbins book, The Total Money Maker, or whatever. It was a massive endeavor to read through a piece of text that big that was talking about, you know, compound interest and finance this and all these words.
Yep.
And I went to my credit union, whom I've had, you know, my banking with since I was, you know, whatever, 9 or 10 years old, and, you know, just school grade report cards and stuff money, not anything major, but still, I had been with them for so long, 15, 16, 18 years, and I went in there and I was like, okay, I know maybe like 6% of what this whole book is talking about, and I think I have some ideas. Yeah. And I walked into and I had this idea that, in general, I like working with a credit union because I feel like it's more local versus like a big bank. But even with the idea of a credit union, I went in there with my cheat sheet and I said, okay, I want to put my money in these buckets. And the guy was like, oh, so you read some book or something? And you know, and I was like, yeah, I did read some book, but it took me a year to, first of all, make it through the book. Second of all, it had taken me 2 or 3 years to have that much confidence, even though I only had like 5 or 10% of confidence. It took me 3 years to get there, and then he completely sucked all the wind out of my sails. So now I feel like I have to, you know, forge my own way. But I wonder, what are some of the challenges of forging one's own path versus talking to a pro?
Well, I think, you know, it's awesome that you did all your research and you were curious and you were trying to learn it, and I mean, that's always a good idea. And, you know, with our phones now, we have the world of information at our fingertips, which is great. But, you know, you don't do that 9 to 5. Would you like to get advice for something that's about, or from someone that does do that 9 to 5? Like, if I want to know about marine biology, you know, yeah, I could go to the library and get some really good resources and books on it. But if I really want to know I want to study a certain type of sea turtle. I'd probably ask a marine biologist how to do that, and I'd probably see if they could come with me. You know, because I don't have time to, and that's going to be my one day thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that once a day for maybe, you know, once in my life, maybe a couple times in my life, right? So I'm not going to know the ins and outs of it and be able to stay on top of that sea turtle the way they would, right? If they're there all day, every day, and they know already about, you know, their eating habits and their whatever you know. So I think a lot of it is using the resource and just the value of a relationship with somebody that you trust, because you can find anything you want. If you want to buy any sort of product, financial product or not, you can find it. And you've got a million options of how to find it and buy it, and you could totally buy it yourself. But do you know what you're buying? Do you know if what you're buying is quality? Do you know if what you're buying is actually right for you? That's where the relationship with somebody that knows you can say, you know, I've, you know, you say, oh, I read about this thing. I think I'm going to buy that. Great. Well, that thing can work really well for people in these types of situations. You're in this one. So I think if you want to do that, we can design it this way. And that way it'll actually work for you, right? Rather than you going out and being like, I'm going to buy this thing because that's what some, you know, so I think it's both. You can come with an educated idea, and then a lot of it, like I said, is that GPS. Like, if halfway through your trip, you decide, oh, you know what, actually, I want to avoid, you know, like on your phone, you can say avoid toll roads or avoid highways. And you can do that halfway through your trip. If you all of a sudden decide, you know what, I'm going to take all back roads. You can change it, and the GPS will still get you there. And I think that's where a financial planner can come in and say, you know, I was thinking these toll roads, you know, I just hate all these toll roads. I hate the whole concept of them. And so now I just don't want to, I want to avoid them completely.
Gotcha.
Your GPS will be like, okay, great, we can do that. So I think it might be kind of the same thing, you know, because...
Yeah, so what I hear you saying is that it's possible to work with a financial advisor, to have a general idea of the direction that you're going, and it's also possible to pivot. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm afraid of, one of the big things for me is the whole idea of managed money. And so then how often are they trading, and am I going to have to take deductions and penalties all the time? And I think when you're talking about trust and financial advisors, I feel like that's a big factor for so-and-so like me. So what I hear you say is that it's worth the time and effort to A, find a person in your community, and B, try to establish some sort of rapport with them, and then C, it can be a mutually beneficial type of experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. So GPS, I love metaphors in general. And this industry, we use a fair amount of them too, because we do all intangible things, right? So, you know, much like a player and a coach, right? The player is still playing the game. The player is the one putting in all the time at practice and at the gym, and they're actually accomplishing. But the coach is like guiding them, making sure they're not getting derailed, making sure there's, you know, all these details. Like they sort of have an outside perspective and a bird's eye view, even though the player's the one playing the game, because the coach never plays the game. The player plays the game. And so I think that's where it kind of comes in. You've got a team effort.
A team effort, I like that. Yeah. I always feel more validated and more safe when there's like other people involved.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just pause for a sec. Take a beverage.
I know, it's so...
I just want to offer time for questions. So if anybody's got any questions out there. Hi, ladies. Thanks so much for joining. I see the waves back and forth.
I have to, like, read this way.
Okay, I guess... So I guess I'm asking your why. Like, what... You know, design diva turned finance pro. Right? But why did you make that change? Like, what is it that you personally want to bring to your clients? Like, your splash, your pizzazz. What's your vision for your customers? Like, before they meet with you, and then after them. What's life like for them afterwards?
Yeah, I think...
Or I guess during, too.
Right. Because this is... I mean, I definitely look at all my clients, and I hope with all my clients it's a long-term relationship.
Sure.
I am really relationship-driven. I'm... You know, I mean, the specific things that we do for people, they're cool, and I definitely see the value of them, and it does fire me up. But really, what fires me up is people and helping them, problem solving, which is what I did in design too. So the underlying principles are all still there. I think, money is something that is emotional, and I will argue with anyone, you and your money is a relationship.
Oh,
is it a healthy one? Are you in control of it? Because your money is an inanimate object,
That's
right?
true.
But you are in relationship with it. And so, money and, so you've got this emotional relationship with money, and really seeing that, yes, you can take control of it. And then looking at it as the tool that it is. It's very much like a hammer. A hammer can build a house. A hammer can demolish a house. And it's up to you because you're the one holding that hammer.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent, but
yeah. So I'm just asking for your why, your vision.
yeah. So I guess I just want to help people do that. I just want to help people do that. And then I do get my design fixes on the side. Not disclaimer, confession.
You know what? Last time we talked about side hustles. We have a couple side hustlers in our group here. So hello to the side hustlers.
Hello, side hustlers. Sorry, that sounded awful. I'm sorry. I was trying to read and then, anyway.
It's all good.
This is my first Facebook Live, you guys. Bear with me.
And you're doing a wonderful job. Yay! Okay, so is there an answer to a question that we have yet to ask?
Yeah, I think, why? Having a meaningful conversation about money. Like I said, insurability is big for me.
I think that's big for lots of people too. Insurance is a big hot topic in our communities right now, and hot topics in our homes, and that sort of thing. So totally. So yeah, okay. So you guys talk about retirement. You talk about insurance. You talk. What are some of the products or services that one can kind of generally anticipate with financial advisors?
Those would be two big ones. We work a lot with small business owners, or as I'm trying to teach myself to say, closely held businesses, because to whoever that business owner is, it's not small. It might be their baby, but babies grow, and businesses that people own, they grow, and they mean a lot to them. So we're able to help those people kind of in how their business can positively impact their personal finances and all of that.
Okay.
But I think you hit on a lot of them. So
well, that's good.
yeah, and beyond, it's
totally, and everybody.
I can confirm and deny. I can't.
So what we're suggesting is that if you have specific questions, that maybe a Facebook Live is a very good introduction, but that if you have more specific questions, again, so me personally, I'm just kind of airing out my dirty laundry. I have lots of student loan debt. So that's something that I'm going to be interested in kind of pursuing probably within the next 2019 year. And now that our Frugal Females Challenge has been helping so many people kind of understand, A, that they have a relationship with money, B, that, hey, I didn't know that money was a hammer and not like, something else, like a hamburger or whatever.
Right.
Those kinds of things are super important. I just guess want to ask you guys if there's any questions out there that you have. We had some people that had brought, so question was, what happens when you pay off your student loan debt? Then all of a sudden you have all this extra money. Where should that be going? Is it, establishing an emergency fund? Is it investing ASAP? Is it, establishing like 6 months to a year? What types of generalities here? What types of things do we consider after we pay off our debts?
Yeah, I would say all of the things you said, absolutely. I might argue that even before those student loans are totally paid off, have an emergency fund before that.
Okay.
Because, very, very often people will come and say, I've got all my credit card debt, and so I'm just throwing all my money into it, right? Awesome. If you have that much extra income at the end of the month, why not put yourself in a place where you can actually stop the cycle of having to repay off your credit card every time something happens.
Gotcha.
So, it's a lot of it is, once that debt is paid off, I think so much of what you do throughout, I think, your life is just redirecting your dollars to where you want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Later they're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
If it's in retirement, right, you're accumulating all this money, and then in retirement you have to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of it is just, redirecting, and again, all based on your goals and all of that. I mean,
Sure.
there's a lot that you can do with that student loan money once it's paid off. So.
And then another question is, there are some new moms in the house, and I think that the idea of, okay, I anticipate there being a huge financial shift, but I don't think that there's a whole lot of understanding what that looks like. I totally get it, but like what? So I guess that's
a financial shift. How? Like what?
Well,
like in the market,
a new family member, right? A new baby. So
yes,
they're bringing in
okay.
a family. So how do we? I went from talking with my husband, and we have this really good system working for just two, but now we have to introduce, and we're going to have to reprioritize. Do you have any resources or tips or suggestions or anything like that for like new moms and dads or new families, that sort of thing?
I would say meeting with somebody would be a great idea. Just because now you do have this thing that you're going to take care of. What if there's some chance where you're not here to take care of them?
Gotcha.
Can they still be taken care of? If you plan, yes, they can. Or even worse, maybe you're not here, or maybe you're not here. Maybe you're here, but you're not working. What's happening to your financial plan at that point? Can you put a hedge against that? Yes, you can. So I think that's a lot of it too. And like I said, with time and health, doing that even before you have a kid can be super helpful, because a lot of these things are tied to your age and thus your health.
Yes.
A 20-year-old is always going to be healthier than a 45-year-old because they're younger. And you've got time. So even if it's not something that you're dealing with right that second, if it's something you want to deal with is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, then it's always good to kind of know, just getting information. Maybe you don't pull the trigger on it. That's totally up to you, but knowing is better than not knowing. So I think, yeah.
Any last minute questions from our audience in the house or online? Good? You good? I'm good.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Woo! Woo! Thanks so much for joining, everybody. Thanks so much for participating in the Frugal Females Challenge. We have a few more days left in the month. I know that I'm kind of sweating bullets a little bit, making sure, crunching my numbers, making sure that I haven't gone over so far. I think I'm just sliding in under the radar. But if it is helpful at all, we're going to go ahead and follow up with some contact information for Jordan.
Yep.
She's available if you're in the greater Seattle area. She's available in person. Otherwise, I think on the phone.
Phone or Zoom. It's really, it's a compliance thing if it's recorded. So if it's a phone call, if it's a phone call with a picture, i.e. Zoom, it's all good. So
she's available, is all I just say.
Yes, I am available.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Just bring it in for a hug, girl. Okay.
Yes.
Well, thanks everyone for joining. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.